Voice of Chester.
It's born leader. Work hard, expect nothing, right? That's right. Hot. Time now, baby. Time now record. Hey. First things first, I put my old name, be easy in the dirt. That's dead. 6 feet, we don't even need a hearse. Raised from the dead, so this is my rebirth. Born leader, the new name, I'm better suited. Yeah. God gave me a gift and said you better use it. Yeah. And I did drop a classic LP 1 year previously, but expect to hear better music. Still repping time now to the end of time. Yes, running a good race, I can see the finish line. Good morning, good morning. What's going on, Chester City? What's the deal? What's the deal? How you doing? How's everybody doing this hot and humid morning? We here. We here, man. Man, I'm telling you, man, this never gets old, man. Like, this really never gets old. You know what I mean? Like, I've been on here a lot, here, a lot in the past year, been moving and grooving, speaking and preaching and doing different things of that nature. But I'm telling you, this never gets old. It's like, when something is, when it's true passion, when what you do never gets old.
Right.
You feel me on that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, with what you do, it never gets old. It's like sometimes you may need a break, though. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, we're all human, right? We are human. We all get tired sometimes. You know what I mean? We all got to look for different ways just to try to, make it to where we can do what we do, but we still have our times of rest. But I tell you, man, like when you're really called to speak and called just to whatever, it never gets old. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like somebody, like say your favorite music, your favorite artist band. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's take that for an example. Like, so your favorite artist who likes to perform on stage in front of thousands of people. Right? So it's like him coming out on that stage and seeing all them people cheering for him. It's like, man, that never gets old. You know what I mean? It's like, this is great. This is great. So, this is like somewhat how I feel when I come on here to speak, right? Now, there ain't no big crowd of people. There ain't no, I don't got people in crowds cheering for me. But I know who is cheering for me. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's like there ain't no big crowds of people, but I'm telling you, like whenever the music come on and it stop and it's time for me just to start like introducing the show and come on, it's like, man, like it feels like I'm an artist on stage in front of thousands of people.
Yeah, it feels good. And you even got your own show and everything. So
yeah. Yeah, so it's quite an experience, but this never gets old, man. But anyway, welcome, Chester City. What's going on? This is Born Leader. This is CMP Radio, and this is Week Strong. This is just a bi-weekly kind of program show that just comes with a word of life, a word of encouragement for the week, that will propel you, that will touch you in some kind of way, that will strengthen you in some kind of way, that will encourage you in some kind of way, throughout the week and hopefully throughout the rest of your days, right? Because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to encourage, I'm here to strengthen, speak in a way that people can take it and it could touch them in some kind of way, form, or fashion. And I don't know, which way it might touch you, but I do know that when you speak the truth, when you speak honestly, that that it does resonate with people, right? Like when you speak honestly, when you speak from the heart, you know what I'm saying? When you speak from the heart, that's going to touch somebody. You know what I'm saying? May not be a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. May not be crowds and crowds of people, but whenever you speak from the heart, you're going to hit somebody.
Yeah, it's gonna be somebody.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like, you know, I've come to learn that no matter like people's like backgrounds or like even like beliefs in certain things, like people respect somebody that speaks from the heart, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that transcends everything. When you speak from the heart, somebody gonna be like, oh man, like his message really seems like genuine though. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a powerful thing when that happens. But anyway, it's good to be here. It's hot out there, it's humid, but we here going in. CMP Radio, cultivating mature positivity, consistently making progress, changing media's perspective. What else? Changing minds powerfully. Chester Made Products. My goodness, man. Yo, it's good. It's good, man. I just want to tell you that it's all good. That's all I want to say. Like, I don't care how bad it looks, how bad it feels, how bad it gets. It's all good. It's all good, and it's all working together for your good. You know what I mean? That's one of the intricacies of purpose, that everything works out for good. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It don't feel good. It don't feel good. Don't look good. It don't seem good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it is good. Oh, yo, see, hold on. Now, there's so many ways I could go with that. There's so many ways I could go with that, man. Like, it may not look good. It may look bleak, right? It may look bleak. You might have a bleak outlook on life, a bleak perspective. But that's all good. But I want you to know that's your perspective, right? And just because it's in human beings to have a perspective or to have an opinion, right? And to have emotions, just because that's in your realm, like, yo, just because it's in your realm to have emotions and a perspective on something, it doesn't mean that it's true, right? It don't mean that it's true. You could look at life and be like, man, my life is whatever, you know, or this city is whatever, or my life, yeah, like I said, my life was whatever. But just because you can think like that and feel like that, don't mean that it's true. You know what I'm saying? Powerful thing. But anyway, man, let's dive in. I don't want to be too long. Let's dive into the topic, man. And I'm not sure. Yeah, P must have put the topic up there. But I want to talk about silent cries. Silent cries, man. And silent cries. Because you know, I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? It's like when people cry, you know, a lot of times people cry, but you may not hear them. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, people think of crying, you think of somebody yelling and screaming and tears flowing all the time, but sometimes people can cry silently to where it's something going on, but you might not even know because it's silent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like, you know,
it's silent.
Silent in their mind. Like, it could be like they could be crying inside their mind too. Like, it just goes really mentally about it too. Facts, yeah. Yeah.
Like crying mentally, you know, like just crying and dying on the inside.
Yeah, or just
screaming for help on the inside. You know what I'm saying? You're not screaming like help me, but your mind is screaming on the inside and calling out for help. And so listen, silent cries, but I want to let me just preface the topic by saying, you know, I was extremely burdened yesterday. I was in deep thought yesterday, right? I was in deep thought and I was burdened yesterday, and I just, you know, I felt necessary to come on here to share this because, you know, I found myself, like, I was talking to my daughter who's 12. I was talking to her yesterday at first about this, you know, about this topic. So I was talking to her, we talked for a while, and then, like, you know, no lie, maybe like an hour or two later, I was talking to my son about the same thing I was talking to my daughter about.
So I'm just like, yeah, man, this is necessary to talk about. So silent cries. Silent cries, man. When I was talking to my daughter yesterday, you know, my daughter is the kind of young girl who, like, whenever I talk to her about something, whenever I just bring something to her attention, she begins to cry. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And she just begins to cry. And so what I began to think about was, well, when I seen her crying, I seen myself. You know what I'm saying? Because that used to be me. There was a point in time, there was a time in my life when I was young, when I was a young boy. I was about like 8 years old, and so much had happened in my life, but mainly, just dealing with the separation of family, like brokenness of family. My parents divorced. I was living with my mom and brothers, but then we separated. I was separated from my brothers. I want to live with my grandma. I was staying with her for a couple years, and then she passed away. And my grandma was my life. She was everything. She was an angel. She took care of me. She was amazing. And so when she passed away, when she passed away, I was 8 years. Well, I was 7. I was 7 at the time, but once she passed away, I just, later on in life, I understood that I was hurt very deeply by that, but I didn't know it when I was young. So anyway, she passed away, and then I went and lived with my mom for a couple years, and then my dad came, and then he moved me with him and my stepmom to another part of town. Excuse me. So, in just a little bit of time. So just picture, right? It was like I was living with, like, for an example, I was living with my mom and my brothers, right? Well, no, my parents had divorced before that. So family had broken up, my parents had divorced, bam. So one of them moved with my mom and my brothers, bam. So we there for a little bit, but then we there for a couple years, and then, we separated. So I was separated from my mom and my brothers, want to live with my grandma, bam. Staying with her for a couple years, she passed away right next to me, bam. That happened. Right after that, went back with my mom and her boyfriend, stayed there for a couple months. That didn't work out. My dad came and got me on the move again. Now I'm living with him and my stepmom somewhere else. So just like a lot of things happening back to back. Mm-hmm. This happened, I was separated, this happened, I was over here, I was over there, And I was only 7, 8 years old.
It's tough going through that, like, when you're a young age, and,
Yeah, facts.
Like, you're still like a little baby, and then you're confused. It's like everything is happening. It's like, like I can't even stay in like one place. Like, I'm always on the move everywhere.
Always on the move.
So
yeah. So like, so that was my life, and that was my life at this young age. So I'm always on the move. And then once my dad came and got me, and I was living with him and my stepmom in another city, I started going to school in that city. So I started going to school, boom, boom, boom. So I'm like 8 years old. It's like 2nd, 3rd grade, whatever. And I noticed that, and I can remember, just think about it now, that like pretty much every day when I started school that year, when I was 8, like 2nd, 3rd grade, every day, almost every day, whenever somebody said something to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever that I thought was negative or that it felt like it was negative, I cried. Yeah. Like, I was crying like every single day. You know what I'm saying? I was crying every day. Like, just imagine being 8 years old in like second grade, and every day you at school, you cry. And it was crazy because I didn't I didn't even understand why I was crying. Like, it's crazy when you don't even understand why it happens. It's like, you know, we could be outside playing at recess having a good time. And then somebody would just, I don't know, somebody might like say something about me. Like, whole time the person could have been joking though. You know what I'm saying? Like, not even nothing major. Like, Ben, look at Ben, man. He can't even like run or something like that. Just on some little kid play around stuff. Right. But when they would say that, I would be happy playing. As soon as I heard that, I'd break down, start crying. Just like that, out of nowhere. Cried every day. And so anyway, when I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and then I had mentioned something to her, she started crying. I immediately went back to that little boy, and I was like, man, this used to be me. Yeah. Like, every time somebody said something to me, I would just cry. And I began to think that at that time, even though like I was crying out, so I was screaming silently. I was hurt. You see, for somebody to, whenever you talk to somebody or say anything to somebody, if they break down and start crying, something is going on with that person. Like, something inside the person, something mentally is going on. Something emotionally is going on with this person. Anytime you say whatever to somebody and they start crying, it's something internally wrong. Yeah. Something is going on. And I was 8 years old doing this every day, and guess what? Nobody told me something was wrong. Like, nobody ever, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I had teachers that wonder what was going on. You know what I mean? That might have been like, man, Ben, are you okay? Why are you crying all the time? You know, so I think I had teachers that might have tried to help, but they really couldn't because they didn't know me like that. Number one, you know, I just had started there that year. They didn't know me like that, and they didn't know my life. They didn't know that I dealt with, you know, my parents breaking up, to this happening, my grandma dying, my heart. They didn't know. They couldn't relate to that. Right. They couldn't identify with that. And I think for me personally, just being young and being 8 years old at that time, I probably couldn't even communicate that well as to say what was going on with me, to be honest. So not to even to place blame on them. So they might have wanted to help, but if I couldn't tell them what was going on, how could they help? So I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why I was crying every day. I couldn't communicate that well. They didn't know. Nobody could do anything. So I was just going through the motions, and I was trying to figure things out on my own. But something was wrong. And so when I was this young man doing this, I was reminded that those were silent cries. You know what I'm saying? Like, those were silent cries. I was crying out for help. But because of the circumstances, nobody really could help me. Ah, man. Like, what do you do? Listen, I'm just posing a question. What do you do when you're crying out for help, right? And there's nobody there to help. What do you do? I'm 8 years old and I was crying out. I was crying every day in school. It's not normal to cry every day. I was crying every day. Whenever somebody said something to me, a joke, if it wasn't a joke, something positive, I broke down and cried. Those were silent pleas. They were signs and symptoms. I was crying out for help, but because of the circumstances, nobody was there. No human was there, should I say. Somebody was there, all right. No human was there. Mm-hmm. But, man. Woo, man. No human. What do you do when no human being could really identify and relate and help you? What do you do? So anyway, so me and like I said, so I was talking to my daughter, and then we had a great talk, and then I was talking to my son here, and so I'm gonna let you kind of take over now. But we were talking about, your friend who had committed suicide, man, and different things regarding that. And so Ben, I want to just just share, I guess, like what we were talking about yesterday, and just different things about, that situation and what we talked about yesterday.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm gonna take over here, y'all. So my past best friend that he passed away like a couple years ago, and pretty sure if whoever's watching this, you probably recognize it, but his name was Quali Aaron Shockley, and me and my dad was talking about him yesterday, and I was just talking about silent cries of, like, different things that happened with him, and it was crazy because Quali was that type of person where, like, he was always happy, like he was always happy. And he was always happy. He loved to, like, tell jokes and make fun of people and everything like that. And he was helping me during a lot of stuff too, and everything. And, like, he just looks like he was always happy. But like, ever since that day that I heard that he committed suicide, I just I wasn't right. And I just froze up. I'm like, wow. And I'm talking to other people about this. I'm like, nobody really see him doing that to himself. Like, his type of smile and, like, different things that he had and everything he had, he was good at basketball. He was funny. Nobody seen him doing that to himself. And, like, people was really confused just about, like, what happened, and it just wasn't right. So, like, but what me and my dad was talking about yesterday, y'all, is that Quali had a silent cry, and his silent cry that we think it was like, he got bullied a little bit in school, and his mom used to live his mom lived in the house with him, and I guess a couple other siblings and himself, and but his father wasn't there. And mind you, like, I never seen his father, like, at all. Like, I never seen his father, like, ever in his life until he passed away, and then I visited him at the hospital, and that's when I finally seen him. But I think we think that his silent cry was mainly like a broken family. Parents is divorced. Siblings on each side of the parent. Because I heard he was the only child just on his mom's side. Like, his mom's side, it was just he's the only child, and his dad, like, had a couple other kids. But we think his silent cry was really just, he was really, like, crying out for help, but nobody really noticed it. I didn't even notice it myself. Like, I did not notice, like, him crying out and everything like that, like, because he just looked so happy, and what he did was he like hide it. He like he had it like a hidden, he had like a hidden hurt, like he had a hidden cry and everything like that, because maybe he was look so happy in school, but like when he gets home, he's bursting out crying and everything like that. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just shout out Lean Mayfield. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for comment. I appreciate that. And Lean Mayfield, she says, people are full of trauma. Yes, without the support, without the support systems they need. Yeah, that's a great comment. And it's crazy because like what I want to get across here is that like people are full of trauma, right? It's like we all are full of pain and full of traumatic experiences and like full of these things, full of hurt. Like we all are full of hurt, and the thing that I want to get across is even though that is, there's a plan for that, right? I mean, there is a plan that's already in place, right? For people, for us, like for people who have been through the pains and traumas of life. It gets down deep in us, and it really overcomes us. And the painful and traumatic moments, they control us. They control our actions. They even shape and define us as human beings. But the plan that's in place, of course, overrides that. I just hit the bell by accident. But the plan in place overrides that, and the purpose of the Lord will shine through. And but right now, even though me being a man of the Lord and a preacher and a speaker and somebody who gives hope, what this conversation is about right now, it's about it's about understanding hope, right? It's about understanding the purpose and plan. It's about joy. It's about that, but right now we're dealing with silent cries, right? Mm-hmm. It's like even when we experience the joy of understanding different things, how different things that we go through, that they actually shape us into better individuals. Although we understand that, we still are humans and we still deal with painful memories. And now Lean Mayfield has saying our community is bombarded with compilations of distress. We don't talk about it enough. You're right. It has been embedded in our culture that all we need is the Messiah. And I'm sorry, I can't read on the screen. I can't read the rest of your comment. I can't see the rest of it. I tried to read most of it there, but yeah, you're right. I mean, listen, the way it's been set up, right? We need to be sensitive to each other. That's right. Right. We need to be sensitive to each other's pain, I think it says. But yeah, the way that it's set up is that when we have pain, when we go through trauma, the way that it's been constructed, the way that it's been constructed, the way that it's been set up, the way that it's been ordained is that, you don't heal from that yourself, right? You can't heal and restore the void and the emptiness left from pain, the trauma that's left from pain. You can't do that yourself. It infiltrates your flesh in your soul, and it corrupts and distorts your worldview. Man, your view of people, your view of yourself, right? It even corrupts and disrupts and distorts your view of the Lord, to where once once man fell, right? Once man fell in the garden, right? He didn't look at the Lord the same. He didn't look at himself the same. You see, he knew he was naked, and then he ran and tried to cover up. And it even gave him a false sense of intimacy with the Lord. The Lord was, where are you? Where are you, son? Come here. And you wasn't even responding. So it corrupts your view of yourself, of others, of the world, and you're overcome. And it truly kills you. In the day that you do this, you will surely die. I mean, it's when you experience pain, it kills something in you, right? And that's why we're talking about silent cries, because you were talking about your friend and different things that he had experienced and what he was going through, and me thinking about my 12-year-old daughter, who every time I say something to her, she begins to cry, and me being that 8-year-old kid, and every time I would cry, I was dead. I was dead when my grandmom died. You know what I mean? You see, we gotta understand. When my grandma died, I died, man. I wasn't here. I wasn't here no more. Like something died in me. It's like when somebody that close, when somebody that beautiful, when somebody that lovely, when somebody who took care of me, when somebody who took me in when she was sick, when she was here, I wasn't here no more. Come on, man. I wasn't the same. My joy was gone. My life was gone. I died. I wasn't here. So the rest of my life from the first entrance point of pain and trauma, right? Whether that was my parents divorcing or breaking up from this, family brokenness, divorce, my grandmom dying, whichever one you want to say. At that point, up until 30 some years old, I was dead, man. I was dead. I was crying silently. My soul was crying. My soul cried out, somebody help me. Somebody save me. And guess what? Nobody could understand that. Nobody knew that. If you looked at me after my grandma died, you would have seen somebody who was shocked or hurt, but you couldn't tell that I was dead. I was still breathing. I was still acting somewhat the same, but I was gone. My soul had died. My spirit wasn't there. My spirit was with my grandma. I wasn't here no more. We are the only culture that doesn't seek out resources. Maybe because we never had the resources to find them. Silent cries. You see, like and just in speaking to the context that Miss Mayfield is in here, it's like our people, man. Like us as a people, us as a culture, us as a race, we've been through so much. Like, listen, the pain and hurt of slavery. Don't you know that it's people that still suffer from what our ancestors went through? That's passed down through the generations. You don't just get away from that.
Yeah.
So I like there's a part of us as a race, there's a part of us as a demographic, there's a part of us that's a city that's suffering from slavery. These are silent cries. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, what I'm getting at and what I'm trying to say is that when they would hang, when they would whip somebody to death, when they would hang somebody on a tree, man, like our race died, man. Come on, man. Our culture died. It's like we gotta stop looking at stuff like when something happens to one person, that's an isolated incident. Man, when they hung somebody on that tree, and when them people, you know, with them white hoods and them slave masters would stand around and look at that for entertainment, man, that killed everything. Silent cries, man. Silent cries. Young Ben. Silent cries, man. Mm-hmm. Like, why would somebody think that when my grandmother died, as Miss Mayfield so eloquently put it, she says in one comment, I can't see it all, I'm sorry, but it says she was your only stabilizing force, I believe, or something to that effect. So it's like, why would anybody else think that when she died that I was cool after that? Come on, man.
Nah, somebody crazy for that. If they did say that, nah.
Come on, man. Listen, pain doesn't just have to happen to you for something to be wrong. It can happen to a loved one, somebody that's not you. Like you could, Ben. Let's just say for an example. You, right? You might have had an ideal life. Say you never went through anything before. But then as soon as your friend committed suicide, that did something to you. So what I'm trying to say is trauma or pain doesn't just have to happen to you, like to you for you to feel, for you to die. Pain can happen to a loved one that could kill you. Man, like it takes something away from you.
It just takes
like not only is he not here no more, but it takes away just like the time y'all spent, the times y'all laughed, the times y'all would hang. Yeah. It's like it died.
It dies. Like you remember it, but it's just not even there anymore.
This is good. Miss Mayfield, can you share this video, please? Share this video. We're not about views. I'm not about views and likes and comments, but just to kind of get the word out there more in case somebody else just might be blessed by this. That's all. You know what I mean? But so please share it if you're willing to, if you may. Silent cries. You see, I know everything is going to be okay. That's not what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I don't know everything is going to be. I know everything is for a purpose. I know it's a plan of redemption. I know it's restoration. I know it's abundant life. I know what the devil meant for bad, the Lord turns it around. I know that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I'm burdened by silent cries. Every time that I talk to my 12-year-old daughter about something, she cries.
She cries.
I know that it's going to help her. Like the more that I talk to her and tell her I love her, the more she goes throughout life. I know at some point the Lord is gonna take all that, put it in a pot, stir up a recipe, and something's good gonna come out. I know that. But I'm just saying that every time I talk to her and when I see the tears, I'm burdened, I'm hurt by that. I know joy comes in the morning, but I'm saying it's silent cries that I still have to deal with here. Man. So when I was that 8-year-old boy, when I would cry every day in school, I didn't know and I didn't understand why I was crying. I didn't understand what was wrong with me. And guess what? No human being was there that was able to identify and tell me. So what happened? I was wounded. I was a wounded boy. I need you to understand something about life. I need you to understand something about trauma. I need you to understand something about pain. I need you to understand something about shame. I need you to understand something about offense. I need you to understand something about the flesh. I need you to understand that when pain and trauma happens, it wounds you. I was a wounded boy. I was a wounded 8-year-old that turned into a wound that resulted in a wounded, lost teenager. That resulted in somebody who began to use different methods to cope with his pain. I tried to play sports and I tried to look for girlfriends and women and I tried music and I tried different things. I tried to focus on this, but I couldn't escape the wound. I was crying out for help. And nobody was able to tell me what was wrong. Do we miss the signs? Listen, I'm not blaming nobody. You see, it's something that I want you to understand about me. And perhaps Miss Mayfield is still watching. Miss Mayfield, it's something that I want you to understand about me. You know, I'm a man changed and redeemed and transformed by the Spirit of the Lord and by the blood of the Lamb. So I don't look back over my life to blame. I don't blame shift anymore. I take responsibility for what's happened to me. So I don't blame anybody. I love everybody. Ah, man. You see?
That's a cool to remember, bro.
See, that's a sign of true redemption. See, that's a sign of true forgiveness. I don't blame anybody, but I love everybody. That's a man or a woman changed. So I don't blame my parents. I don't blame the brokenness. I don't blame them. I'm just saying, but what I am saying is, I wonder when I was that 8-year-old boy who was crying out, I wonder when I went home from school, I wonder if my parents were paying attention. I wonder if they knew. How often do we miss the signs of the silent cries? Are we too busy with our own jobs and careers and responsibilities to recognize child trauma?
Yeah. What's more important?
Are we too busy sometimes that we don't see the signs, that we don't hear the cries? Listen, to people, I don't care how old you are or how young you are, but to to young people, to the youth, to middle age, to even the elderly. You know, I'm a person that's been called. I'm a person that's been called to see and to hear the silent cries. I mean, this is what I gave up. This is what the Lord allowed me to give up my life for, right? See, nobody was really there that could, like I said before, I mean, I think my teacher, I think I had some teachers that was wondering why, but they couldn't identify, they couldn't relate, they didn't know. Or maybe it's when I was in school, and because there's 30 other kids to look at, you can't stop and pay attention to one kid when you got a classroom of 25. It's like, okay, I think something's wrong with him, but I don't have time to just spend with him. I got 25 other kids. I can't stop what I'm doing to figure out what's wrong with you. You gotta figure it out.
Right.
Man. But I'm here to talk about silent cries. And I'm here to talk about true love. You see, true love, true love is when somebody stops what they're doing and assumes the responsibility and takes time to figure out the silent cries. I'm not blaming my teacher. I'm not blaming my second or third grade teacher. I'm not blaming my parents. Whatever happened was supposed to happen. I'm just saying, people are crying out silently, and I wonder how many people see the signs and hear the silent cries, man. Are we too busy? Are we too busy? Are we thinking about other things? Are we thinking about bills? Are we thinking about our jobs and careers? Are we thinking about things and not people? Yes. Miss Mayfield. Oh, I have no idea who this is. I don't know who Miss Mayfield is, but I love this woman already. You know what I mean? She's commenting. I love this. A slave mentality of just accepting whatever happens to us just does. Now, every time a young person is murdered, I feel it. Being the honor for murder. Man. Whew. 4 murdered nephews?
Yeah.
Huh? So she understands what I'm saying. She understands what I'm saying. 4 murdered nephews. Come on, man. It's like everything happens for a reason. I know that. But you still got to deal with the pain of what is. 4 murdered nephews. Silent cries, man. You don't blame, but the trauma has to be, I know you talking good. It has to be acknowledged. I don't blame anybody for it. I'm past it now, right? I've been forgiven. All is well. Great things has happened, and great things will continue to happen. But it still got to be acknowledged. The prayers, if your grandmother preceded your life and stood in the gap for you. Yes. Silent cries, man. Silent cries. Man, so, now, Ben, you got something else you wanna add?
Not really, y'all, but like, yeah, the silent cries really, the silent guys really do be coming. It's like we're never the same when like somebody passes away. It just sometimes you can't really explain it. It just really like just hits different. It just hits different, and it's going to be like a difference about you, like during your whole life, because that happened, and we lived through it. But it just kills something in your soul, man. And when like a friend, family, grandmother, mother, father, or wherever else in the family or friends, like when somebody passes away, it just I'm sorry y'all, but yeah, it just really hits different than what it was before, and it's just crazy, man. But people really have silent cries, and sometimes they don't even understand. Like even somebody that's trying to like help you, like, and they're still not helping you. Like it's something like they can't relate. Like we can't relate, and they're trying to help you, but you keep crying and everything. Like it's hard, because like if they can relate to that, then it'll probably be more easier. But like since other people don't understand and can't relate to it, it's hard. It's hard though.
Definitely. And even though, I'm burdened by this today. I'm burdened by this afternoon. Like I said, the overarching, right? The overarching joy, the overarching purpose and plan of redemption, of restoration is still in place, right? Listen, one thing that I've come to understand, right, growing in the knowledge of the Lord and faith and love, is that you see his plan. You see, it's two plans at play, right? We have the Most High's plan, then we got the devil's schemes and plans, right? But I need you to understand something, and I say this in closing, right? We got to understand here that the Lord's plans was first. His plan was first. He was here, right? The devil is a created being. Oh my goodness. And there is no way that a created being can overpower somebody who made him. His plan was first. And even though we get caught up under the devil's plans and schemes, just know that everything has a purpose and everything is going to turn out for your good. Everything is going to turn out for your good. And my brother, that's not your burden, but it is his charge. Yes. And to bring this message out, I definitely believe that. I definitely believe that, because I'm like, I was like, this is how he feels, right? Like even Miss Mayfield, just look at this for an example, right? When everything was going on with Job, right? You know what I'm saying? Like when everything was going on with Job and when he allowed and permitted the devil to infiltrate, and work his plan and with Job and he lost everything and this happened and boils on his skin and his wife left him and friends was trying to boom, boom, boom. It was all this stuff going on, right? Now, understand and know the Lord already had a plan, right? He knew he was going to restore Job. He knew everything already. But even though he knew what his perfect plan was, his plan of restoration, when Job was sitting there scraping them boils off his skin, man, when his wife said, why don't you just curse God and die? You see, when all that was going on, the Lord was looking down, crying, no. He was looking down on his servant like, oh, man. You see, let me tell you something about this. Don't you ever think for 1 second that you as a person, you as an individual, we as a people, we as a race, we as a city, don't you ever think for 1 second that anything escapes the eyes of the Lord? His eyes go to and fro over the whole earth, watching what man is doing. And he understands your pain. Black people, Chester City, he knows our pain. He knows what we dealt with slavery. He know what happened. He know what them slave masters did. He saw everything. And don't you think for 1 second that anybody escapes the judgment of that. He knows our pain. He went through it. He experienced it. He knows and understands you all too well. I want you to understand that, and I want you to understand him. You see, we have somebody who understands us, but sometimes we don't understand him. And just because you don't understand his ways and his purposes, it don't mean that he don't love you any less, and he don't see what systems are in place that keep us oppressed. He sees and he knows everything too well. And just know that things will be repaid, and we are blessed, number one. We are blessed, yes. And what the devil meant for bad, he will turn around for good. Everything has a purpose, everything has a plan. This is Born Leader, my son Ben Jr. This is Silent Cries. Week Strong on CMP Radio. Chester City, we love you. Miss Mayfield, I love you. Thank you for commenting, for participating. CMP Radio, we love you.
It's Born Leader. Work hard, expect nothing, right? That's right. Time now, baby. Time now record. Hey. First things first, I put my old name, be easy in the dirt. That's dead. 6 feet, we don't even need a hearse. Raised from the dead, so this is my rebirth. New creature. Born Leader, the new name, I'm better suited. Yeah. God gave me a gift and said you better use it. Yeah. And I did drop a classic LP 1 year previous.